But yeah, I think certainly the Dodgers having a 6-man rotation already lined up for him to pitch in that schedule that he's more accustomed to pitching in Japan definitely lines up as I think a favor in their factor here.
He has secret meetings, and there was apparently another one with Toronto. But let's start there, and then we'll get into the details of how it affects other players. Where is Roki Sasaki going to end up, Ben Badler?
I mean, I still think the Dodgers are probably the favorites, right? I mean, if we been talking this time last year, we would have had them the favorites. It seemed like they've been strong on him for a long time. Everything seems to line up in their favor right now, with the exception that they have a little bit less money that they could potentially offer Sasaki compared to pretty much every other team out there. But we're talking a difference of like $1 million or a little under $2 million for a guy who's could wait 2 years and could have signed for 200-300+ million. I don't know that that's going to make much of a difference for him in terms of like what that ultimate difference in signing bonus offers is. But yeah, I think the Dodgers, the Padres still remain the favorites right now, but there's still about half dozen or so teams right now that at least think they have some type of chance and are in the mix for him.
I'm not sure if you heard what we were talking about in the break, but should this be streamlined? Should the for the fact of the other teams who are not really in it, like he's essentially made his decision. If he has a week between the 15th and the 23rd to make the decision, he's made his decision, or at least down to 2 teams. Like, is it fair that he's holding these other teams hostage, essentially, or holding their international bonus and their international signings hostage?
Well, I think most teams know at this point that they're out on him, that they're not going to sign him. For those handful of teams, they still think they might have a chance. Yeah, I mean, if he has made a decision and hasn't informed them yet, certainly those clubs and all the players who are committed to sign with those clubs would certainly appreciate a heads up. But I think most teams at this point know, like, if they're definitely not in it, then they know that they're definitely not in it at this point.
So what is the ceiling? Not ceiling, but what is the actual, like, hey, this season that he's going to have is going to be compared to whose first season of pitching in the big leagues?
It's tough. I mean, you think about like the other Japanese players who've come over in recent years, whether it was, like a Tanaka or Darvish. Those guys are a little bit older, a little bit more polished than Sasaki. I mean, he's still 23 years old. He's the same age as some prospects who are still in the minor leagues right now. So I think he'll come in right away and be a very good starter. And I think he has the chance to ultimately be a number one and ace because his stuff is just ridiculously good. But whether he, is able to translate that all right away, I don't know. But I think ultimately he will be a future number one in a rotation.
Do you think once he decides on where he's going, it kind of the snowball effect for the rest of the starting pitcher? You like a guy like Jack Flaherty. Do you see him like coming off the board right away, knowing that these handful of teams, if not more than a handful of teams, are looking for that starting pitcher? Do you see more guys all of a sudden, boom, bang, here we go, the free agent starts up again?
Could be, yeah. I mean, Roki is definitely the top priority for. I mean, he's the most talented guy, so probably there are some teams that are waiting on him. And then once he makes or once he announces a decision, or once it's known where he's going, then yeah, I could see some more dominoes start to fall. Maybe not even just for him, but for other free agents. Once teams pivot and realize, all right, we're not getting him, we got to go to our plan B now.
Every time we talk about Roki, I have to look at his numbers, and I mean his innings, and the fact that his velo is dropped. You're talking about a possible ace. To me, I feel like there's a lot of question marks around him. Does that bode better for a team like the Dodgers in the sense that they're okay with not pitching, a guy, that's not even a 6-man rotation. The innings he put up last year were 100, I think 100 and 111, and then his velocity goes down. So a team like the Dodgers, does that bode better for him because he's like, well, I can't go to 180 and be the Blue Jays ace or be, on a team that doesn't have a deep rotation.
Yeah, I think that's one of probably the biggest concern that clubs I've talked to have with Sasaki is that durability factor and durability risk with him in terms of the velocity. Like he's still throwing pretty hard, and we don't know like was he just trying to take something off and hold something back this past year, knowing that hey, I want to make the jump to Major League Baseball after the season. That could be part of it. But yeah, I think certainly the Dodgers having a 6-man rotation already lined up for him to pitch in that schedule that he's more accustomed to pitching in Japan definitely lines up as I think a favor in their factor here.
Ben, tell us more about what we should be talking about. So you've been writing about this over the last several days. It's going to affect many teams and players. So wouldn't it be nice if we got a decision in the next 24 hours? I know he can't officially sign, but we can get reports that he's going to sign with the teams. Because take us through the international situation that we have usually during these signing periods. Don't most players sign on the first day because they've had agreements for years?
Right. So, yeah, these players, like you were saying earlier, Scott, these players will reach agreements to sign with players years in advance of the start of the international signing period on Wednesday. They've had these deals in place, some of them since they were, a lot of them since they were 13, 14 years old, sometimes even younger than that. So January 15th is this like huge day of celebration throughout Latin America, especially in the Dominican Republic and Venezuela, where all of these players who've had deals in place for such a long time are finally able to officially sign. But if a team thinks that they're still in the mix for Sasaki, they're not going to sign anybody on January 15th, except for maybe guys who are going to sign for $10,000 or less, because those bonuses don't count against your pool, because you need to make sure that you have as much money in your bonus pool as you can keep in there to be able to offer that and maximize your offer to Sasaki. So there's a bunch of teams right now where they're not going to sign their players on January 15th unless they're told otherwise by Sasaki, hey, we're not signing with you. So you still will have a bunch of teams around the league who will sign their players as January 15th as normal, and you see all the signing photos come out on social media and all that. But yeah, you have a bunch of players right now who are waiting in limbo, who are wondering, hey, am I going to sign with this team that I've had an agreement with for a long time? You got other teams calling these players and their agents and their families saying, hey, don't wait around for Sasaki to make a decision. We'll offer you more than the deal you have right now. So and we've already seen one case of a player who was going to sign with the Dodgers he's going to now sign with the Pirates. And some players may end up signing for less money because of the fallout here. This player, Darryl Morel, is going to get like $1 million more because the Pirates came in and are going to give him even more money. So because there are players like that who've continued to develop since those early agreements have been in place and are maybe just now better prospects. And there's a whole bunch of teams that still have uncommitted bonus pool money to spend. So like right now in the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, there's all sorts of like chaos going on right now and all this back channel dealing where there's a whole bunch of committed players who might be changing teams at some point in the next maybe by the time we're done talking here, up until the next week or so.
We talk about free agents always trying to get the most money ever. I don't feel like Roki Sasaki is going for the most money because he can't really try to get the most money. Is this a good decision by him? You alluded to it. The fact that if he waited 2 more years, he would be getting essentially, from what I see, more than what Yamamoto got. So is this a good decision for him? I love it because I get to see him in, Major League Baseball. I'm not trying to watch highlights of Japanese baseball to watch one of the best pitchers in the world, but is this a good decision by him?
In terms of maximizing his, financial gain, I would say no, because I would agree with you. He probably would get a comparable contract to Yamamoto. Maybe Yamamoto accomplished a little bit more in Japan than Sasaki has, but I think Sasaki would have done the same by the time he came over. If Sasaki was a true unrestricted free agent today, he'd probably be right to ask for a similar contract. So he's given up a lot of money. It seems like he very much just wants to come over and pitch in MLB right now and try to make as much money as he can in endorsement deals off the field. But yeah, just in terms of the money, he's taken like a 95+% haircut in terms of the money he's going to get had he waited a couple years.
More in a minute, but first, a quick word from our sponsor of this video. Figuring out dinner every night with variety is not easy when you're running around. Let America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh, help you out.
HelloFresh has over 50 recipes to choose from each week. They pre-portion the ingredients and then ship them right to your doorstep.
If you're looking to fit a specific lifestyle, HelloFresh features preferences like fit and wholesome, quick and easy, or a vegetarian option for you too.
HelloFresh helps you eat healthier and stress less about how you're getting the ingredients and ideas for that perfect home-cooked meal.
In many parts of the country, it's cold out, so skip the hassle and snuggle up next to your phone or your computer and pick out your favorite recipes. Then let HelloFresh handle the planning, the shopping, and most of the prep. Get up to 10 free meals and a free high-protein item for life at HelloFresh.com/FT10FM. One item per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's up to 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/FT10FM. And now back to the video. Do you take anything, Ben, from some of the reports we just got over the past 24 hours? Sounds like the Giants are out. The Blue Jays are a late in, as he's only going to sign with a team he meets. I can make that guarantee for him. It's not going to be like, I met with 8 teams, and I'm going to choose this team that I don't know much about or haven't had a conversation with.
Yeah, just the fact that they met with him has to be encouraging. I'd heard some chatter about the Blue Jays, but probably like you guys, where you look at it and you're like, well, if you're gonna come over to MLB right now, like you're obviously not coming to sign the biggest contract you can get, so you probably want to go somewhere where both you can maximize endorsement opportunities and also go somewhere where you're going to compete on a playoff contender for the next 5-6 years. And Toronto certainly is not as in that kind of position relative to these other clubs that we're talking about, both in terms of the major league team and their farm system that we have ranked in the 20s right now. So it would definitely be a surprise to me if they ultimately ended up signing him, but just the fact that he was willing to meet with them has to be at least something of an encouraging sign for them.
Can you hit on the endorsements part of it? Because some fans should look at it and be like, well, he would be the face of all of Canadian baseball. Like, he would be a marketing god for the Blue Jays. But teams, tell me if I'm right or wrong, teams can't offer endorsement deals for somebody. But is that one of the reasons that the Blue Jays got a secret last-minute interview? Like, hey, his agent's like, maybe we got this new offer that's not from the Blue Jays, but just because he would be the biggest ticket in Canada.
I'm not sure. I don't know, but the agency is sophisticated enough to know what the marketing potential is there and endorsement earning potential is for him if he were to go to Toronto. I think maybe one thing that could work in their favor is Toronto wants to spend a lot of money. They're clearly trying to spend money, it seems like, but there aren't, players aren't signing there. I mean, some smaller level signings, but they clearly want to spend money. So, hey, if he goes to Toronto, there are rules MLB has about what you can officially say to a player, but you can also, if you're the Blue Jays, lay out or intimate, hey, like, if you're looking for an extension, we clearly want to spend a lot of money, and we're having trouble having other players take our money. We would love to have you come here, and they can't maybe officially say sign a long-term extension here, but there can be some sort of messaging or understanding that that could be a potential scenario in the near future for him.
All right, one more for you, Ben. Do you think that chaos will ensue on Wednesday? Because that is the day when the international signing period opens up. Do you think that teams will be confused? The ones that still think they're in for Roki, do you think players will start flipping? Because it does sound like there has been somewhat of an ultimatum that has been handed out to some of these clubs, right? Dodgers, Padres, I would say, are at the top of the list, since many people think they're the two front runners for Roki Sasaki. If you're one of those international players that has had an agreement with them for years, and it's the 15th, and they're like, we can't commit yet, aren't you saying, I'm going to scramble to try and get a job elsewhere and try to get some of this bonus money wrapped up with another deal with another team?
Yeah, I think it's already, that chaos has already started. It's already underway. We've already seen one player flip. We're probably going to see some more. There's already teams that are behind the scenes making offers or putting out feelers on these players who are committed to other clubs, and the agents realize, like, hey, we got to do what's best for our player. We don't want to be left um, scrambling for something if Sasaki signs with this team where our player has an agreement with, and I think you'll probably start seeing some trades too, as early as the 15th, because you can't trade international bonus pool money until the signing period officially opens. You could line up a deal before then and then just execute it on the 15th. But I also think some teams are going to start making trades, even if they don't know for certain that they could sign Sasaki, but if they still think they're in it, it might be a way for them to show Sasaki, hey, like, we're all in, like, we're doing whatever it takes to get you. We've already lined up all this bonus pool money for you. Like, you don't have to worry about us having to, work out, to trade for the bonus pool space to maximize the offer. It's probably going to take multiple trades to do. So I think the earlier teams can do that, the better position they'll be in. So you could see, I think you could start seeing some trades happening pretty soon.
Great insight, Ben. Always enjoy the combo with you on Hot Sheet on the Baseball America YouTube channel and podcast page. But thanks for chiming in on this one. We might chat again soon if we get a little more information.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.